My name is David Thorpe. I'm the Director of Sales Engineering here at Seifert, and I'd love to share with you my talk from the recent Finance Showcase on moving beyond Excel, how to streamline finance using AI. I have a background of around 10 years in the data science, analytics, and process engineering space, recently working for tech vendors and on the internal operations and process optimization front. Typically, we talk about this trifecta of the right tools for the right job. Most of you are probably pretty happy with the people you have within your organization. You hire them to do a specific function, conduct a specific task within a department of your business. And many of you will be happy with the processes that underlie that. Maybe these processes could be optimized or through lean or agile process improvement technologies. However, I'm willing to bet most of you are not quite yet ready for the rise of AI applications. On the technology front, many of the organizations we speak to are still using the likes of Excel and legacy technologies for managing their data and managing their business processes. While Excel is a great platform, it's incredibly flexible. It's ubiquitous for a reason. Many people come out of university or leave school having very basic Excel functionality. It's on most people's devices, it's everywhere, and whether you're a PC or a Mac user or you're using the likes of Google Sheets, it's easy to integrate, easy to use, and you can, with a little bit of experience, start to use the likes of VBA for scripting and automation. You have some kind of level of Excel spreadsheeting functionality within your business, and owing to that, it's incredibly low cost and easy to implement within any organization. However, we see time and time again that these Excel processes are generally very error prone. There's an incredible amount of security risk in saving these files and sharing them around the business through email or through SharePoint drives. We generally have no idea who's actually going into our Excel files, digging around, viewing the data, and changing things. Collaboration and versioning of our Excel files is difficult as well. I'm sure we've all come across the error before where you've tried to overwrite something or tried to save something, and it said this version, this file is locked by a certain individual, and therefore you're not able to overwrite it. In that, we see a ton of key person dependency, people who have known and understood these business processes, in many cases for decades, operating the same way through the same rigid processes with one person who has the key of the knowledge and how to unlock the VBA code or understands the formulae and functions that lie behind the Excel file itself. We see a real lack of advanced analysis, thinking to the future of how we can use the likes of machine learning and predictive analytics. And these things are generally quite difficult to do within Excel, quite clunky and not at all user-friendly processes. Now, if there's one number I want you to remember and take away with, it's the number 90. And this number represents 90% of spreadsheets. According to a recent Deloitte study, 90% of Excel spreadsheets of over 150 rows of data contain errors within them. If you think of the scale of the number of Excel files that are out there in all manner of thousands, hundreds of thousands of businesses globally, and the implication these errors has on the potential could be enormous. And yet, time and time again, we see these same blunders in the news where businesses are using Excel files, using rigid Excel processes that results in huge financial and reputational loss to their business. Risk oversights potentially costing JP Morgan $6 billion in their risk management. The London Olympics event overselling the synchronized swimming by 10,000 tickets by running that within an Excel spreadsheet. Fidelity using an incorrect formula, causing a risk to the business of 2.6 billion. And I'm sure we're all familiar with this one. The news that during COVID-19 in the UK, Excel was being used to store data across columns rather than in rows, having an impact on the COVID-19 results being lost. And AstraZeneca accidentally releasing confidential information due to a templating error. The commonalities here of security risk, vulnerability to business, error-prone issues, and data confidentiality risking overall financial loss and reputational damage to these businesses. So there must be a better way. What have we seen in the industry and where are we seeing things going? Well, let's start with the last 10 years or so. We've seen the rise of the SaaS application marketplace, bundling Excel features and functionality into cloud-based platform capabilities. So rather than managing your data points in Excel files, end-user applications were built in cloud SaaS marketplaces that are able to aid the user in making better use of the information that's stored within the business. These applications are wide-ranging and cover core Excel functionality, such as storing data in a tabular format, databasing, information storage, analytics, dashboarding, reporting, customer CRMs, configure price quoting, and enterprise resource planning areas, to name just a few of the major business units. And this is giving better reliability, better security, scalability, and rapid deployment with overall cost savings to these businesses. So what about AI? Well, the AI marketplace is incredibly exciting for anyone who's been following it. We see a potential of £400 billion worth of economic value being created in the UK by 2030 by AI alone, at an annual growth rate sitting at 37%. People are generally scared of AI, thinking it's here to take their jobs. But actually, what we see from various studies is that we're expecting to see 133 million global jobs created within the AI marketplace over the next 10 years. 18 million people in the UK have already used generative AI in some form or another within their personal or their business life. So we're typically seeing around a third of businesses at the early stages of adopting AI in some guise or another to help enhance their processes, generally through the form of chatbots. But we're seeing a market shift recently over the past few years, and this is the theme of agentic AI. The traditional SaaS model that I shared with you is great, but it's flawed for a particular reason. And that's because these applications are designed around a specific functionality. It's software that is, rather than software that does. And we're seeing this rise of the SaaS 2.0 companies, such as Salesforce, that have reorganized their go-to-market strategy towards agent-led services rather than AI bots. Thinking about how we can ingrain AI directly within the process itself, rather than having to port out to an AI bot and having bots carry out tasks for us and feed back into the system. Instead, we have agents that are much more forward-led, trying to prompt and understand the way that we're working to be predictive and help us on our way to complete a task. And the expectation is that agentic AI will transform the way that we work. And this is a new rise and a new wave of AI functionality. So what about the finance industry? Where does finance fit into the whole thing? Well, over on the right-hand side, we see the classic Excel functionality, things like manual data manipulation, basic reporting, and maybe personal budgeting. Maybe you use Excel in your personal life to capture how much am I spending on my mortgage or my bills? What's my incomings and my outgoings? Maybe we have some sort of light level of macros and VBA automation within your business process. And I'm by no means suggesting that any business here today is going to call up their IT director and say, tomorrow we're switching off Excel, we're going to move everything to AI. It's going to be a gradual shift, a gradual movement towards end user democratized tools, such as Excel, being supported by back-end AI processes in that future state of AI operations. On the left-hand side, we see things that AI is traditionally great at. Things like big data processing, predictive analytics, machine learning, and pattern recognition, using data to drive decision-making and prompt that to the end user. Things like natural language processing, understanding sentiment, understanding text and subtext. But we see this convergence of functionality in the middle, where we can potentially use both Excel and AI functionality overlapped with one another to help enhance business process. This might be things like automation of the mundane, manual data entry, preparation, and enhancement building through developed forms rather than having manual entry within a spreadsheet. Things like predictive budgeting, full-scale automation of end-to-end process. So you could enter some information within a form or upload an Excel file into a system, have the business trigger based on a rules-based event, process and take care of it, pushing that through the business operational process into your reporting and through to AI. Maybe producing some scenario analysis that helps you to speed up your business decision making. And talking specifically about the areas that we see this might impact on are things such as automated reporting, dashboard generation, AI-driven decision support systems, and things such as real-time monitoring and alerts. So rather than having a reactive report that tells you the number has gone down 30% since last month, how instead can we make sure our business is tailored to be much more proactive in understanding, alerting, and triggering based on certain data points being wrong, or things being out of kilter with validation rules, or away from the general expectation of where our data policy and data points are expected to be. Things such as automated reconciliation and error detection, so that as I upload that Excel file, check it, run it through the process, we're running the validation up at the front end and running reconciliation to make sure we're not realizing that there's a problem with data quality or the data that we're working with further down the line, impacting on our production visualization and production reporting systems. On that, the general trends are becoming much more proactive and understanding how our data can support our business and our operating systems. Through things such as advanced forecasting and predictive analytics, techniques can be used to forecast our data out using machine learning, augmented models to give us a sense of where our business is heading, what's the trajectory, and how can we impact and run things such as scenario modeling to optimize our outputs. So we're sorry we missed you at the Birmingham Showcase event. Hopefully we'll get to meet you at the Manchester event coming up in a few weeks' time. In the meantime, please feel free to reach out to myself, David Thorpe, or head over to cypher.com and request a demo. We'd love to hear from you, and we look forward to speaking to you. Thank you.